Hello, welcome everybody. Today I'll be playing a game with at my local card shop. So we're starting out here. I'm playing a buddy. I'm playing my Mewtwo deck. I lose every game today because I shouldn't have played that deck. But anyways, so you start out, shuffle your deck. Everybody would cut each other's deck. You draw 7 cards, and you put out a basic Pokemon in the starting spot. After that, you put out your prize cards, which you have here on the bottom left and bottom right corner. Our deck's on the top side. That's my starting, his starting. I'm on the left, he's on the right. Rolled to see who goes first. He got the win, so he's going first. In first turn, if your first act, you cannot attack and you cannot use a supporter card. You cannot evolve. You can add more Pokemon to your bench. You can use your item cards, most of your trainer cards minus a supporter card, except for that one. That particular supporter card right there allows you to use her on the first turn. And other than that, you can use her any other turn to discard your hand and draw 5 more, which he just did. He didn't have a really good starting hand, so that's why he used it and pretty much mulliganed his hand. And then he finished and passed to me. So then I can add more Pokemon to my bench. I can play supporter cards. I can attack. I just cannot evolve on the first turn. My first turn. So attach my energy. Used a supporter card. That's Iono. So we put our hands on the bottom of our deck and draw as many prize cards as we have. Since we both still have 6 cards in our prize, we can both draw 6 cards. Unfortunately, me doing that helped him out because he had a pretty bad second hand he drew into. But I got a couple more Pokemon out onto my bench. Started attaching some tools. That was a experience share, so anytime a Pokemon on my active spot gets knocked out, I can move an energy to the Pokemon that has the experience share, so I don't have to try to draw into it. This deck I'm playing, the Mewtwo deck, is it's energy ramp. So the more energy I have out on my Pokemon, the more damage my Mewtwo does. But I also have Azumarill in it, so this way it's a basic Pokemon, stage 1. So he has to evolve from Morel, and he hits very hard for being a stage 1. And so if they knock him out, they only get to draw 1 prize, whereas opposed if they knocked out my Mewtwo, which is an EX, they can draw 2 prizes. And your goal is to get all your prizes before the other opponent, or knock out all their Pokemon. So if he only had the 1 Pokemon out and I knocked it out and he didn't have any on his bench, I would win the game even if I didn't draw my prizes. The other way is to deck out. So if he has no more cards to draw, like he uses a bunch of supporters to discard his hand, like he did with Carmine, or there's a lot of different cards you can use to draw into your deck a lot, and a lot of Pokemon let you draw into your deck. If you run out of cards to draw, you lose. So he now just poisoned me. His deck is a poison deck. It's built on poisoning the opponent and just letting the poison do its damage. I have that deck built as well. I built it, but I modified it because a lot of his cards he has in that deck right now are good for right now, but come April when they do the what is it called? Rotation. So they're going to rotate all the cards that have letters F in the bottom left corner, and they will no longer be playable. So all the yellow border cards are no longer going to be playable in the game. So basically anything Sword and Shield and older won't be able to be played. So the letters are going to be G, H, and probably I for the next year and a half or so. So I built his deck, his poison deck, because I like it. It's a really good deck. I've played it a couple of times. I've lost and won. But I modified it for after rotation. So that way I can still play that deck after rotation. I changed out His Survivor is his main attacker. And it's cool because what it does is he goes out. It's a basic Pokemon, basically. He goes out to the bench or to the active spot. He attacks. He used 2 energy, attacks for 100 damage with a Binding Mochi because it does 60. You put Binding Mochi on it. That's a tool. And as long as he's poisoned, which is what Brute Bonnet does. Brute Bonnet, his ability, if you have an ancient energy capsule on it, allows you to poison your Pokemon and the opponent's Pokemon. And so you poison it, your Pokemon and the opponent's Pokemon with Brute Bonnet. You have Survivor on the active spot. Survivor hits for 100 now with Binding Mochi. But because Survivor's, when you hit him with that 100, he can come off the active spot to the bench and you can put somebody else up top. And that's why you use Petrant to bring, when you bring back Survivor to the bench. You put Petrant out because Petrant's ability is, if your opponent is poisoned, it adds 5 extra damage counters. So it would do 6 damage counters. Plus he has Sneasler, Radiant Sneasler, which adds another 2 damage counters. So now his poison is doing 80 damage to my Pokemon. And there's other ways. There's a stadium card, which he's going to bring out later, called Perilous Jungle, which adds another 2 poison counters. So he can be doing a total of 100 damage just in poison to my Pokemon. So Survivor comes out, gets poisoned by Brute Bonnet, attacks my Pokemon for 100, goes back to the bench, which removes the poison that he had on him, brings out Petrant, which adds the extra 5 counters, plus the 2 from the stadium, the 2 from Sneasler, and the 1 poison damage you get from being poisoned, making it 100. So now he's done 200 damage to me in 1 turn, which is a significant amount. The higher Pokemon, I think the most HP Pokemon is Palafin with 340. And I think there's another one. I don't remember. I think it's Tyranitar. Other than that, 330 is the highest. So yeah, you don't knock out your Pokemon in 1 turn, but it's a really damaging way to go about getting rid of smaller Pokemons. So there he goes. He just did right now. He brought out Survivor, attacked me, killed my Pokemon, and then brought Petrant back out to do the poison. But because Mewtwo just came out, he's not going to be poisoned. He just knocked out my Pokemon. He got his prize. Now it's my turn. I'm going into my deck to get energy. Because like I said, I need energy from my Mewtwo. That was the problem. I was unable to get my deck going. My deck is based on Natu, Xatu. So Natu evolves into Xatu. And his ability is I can attach an energy from my hand to my Pokemon on my bench, and then I can draw 2 cards. And then I still have, every turn you're allowed to attach 1 energy normally. And because Xatu's ability lets me attach another energy, I can do that. There's a lot of cards and a lot of Pokemon that allow you to attach more energies per turn. That's what this is. It's a kind of a draw engine as well as an energy pump. So I want to pump energy onto all my Pokemon as fast as I can. So Mewtwo can hit as hard as he possibly can, because Mewtwo's attack costs 2 energy. But for every energy on my Pokemon, every psychic energy has to be psychic on my Pokemon, on my active and my bench, does 30 damage plus 10. So if I've got 10 energies on my bench and my Mewtwo, I'm doing 310 damage to my opponent. So the more energy I have on my Pokemon, the more damage Mewtwo does. But in a backup situation, because there are Pokemon who have abilities that block damage from EX cards like Mewtwo, block damage from basic Pokemon, Mewtwo's a basic Pokemon, or block damage from Terra Pokemon, Mewtwo's also Terra in this particular Mewtwo that I play. So he doesn't have any of those kind of cards in his deck that blocks me doing damage with Mewtwo. But if I can't get my energy to high up quick enough, then I can't do enough damage to kind of just take him out quick. So I have Azumarill for decks that might block my Mewtwo, because Azumarill evolves from Marill. His ability allows me, for 1 energy, psychic energy, I do 200 and I believe 30 damage to the enemy for 1 psychic, and 50 to myself, to my Azumarill. But that's a lot of damage for a one prize Pokemon. And so I'll hit him. I can boss orders, which is a trainer that will bring out one of his smaller Pokemon or one of his EXs that have less than 230 damage or health. Hit him for 230, get 2 prizes off of an EX or a V Pokemon. And then knock him out and get the 2 prizes and dwindle him down that way. Yes, he may knock out my Azumarill on the next turn, but he'll only get 1 prize for it. So that's how this deck works. Unfortunately, like I said, I lose this match because I just couldn't get my rotation going fast enough. And he got his set up pretty good. I did help him by Ionoing in the first round, letting him draw into a lot of cards he needed. But basically, it was inevitable that I lost this one. It just took too long to get things going to be able to start getting my my energies onto my board, getting my energies onto my Pokemon, so Mewtwo could attack. When I did get him start going, but he already had, I think, 1 or 2 prizes left. But, it happens. So we're still here. He's still got 4 prizes, but he's pretty much set up. His board is ready to go. He's doing currently, because he does see the card right in the middle there next to our Pokemon. That's his stadium. It's Perilous Jungle, so it adds 2 damage for poison. So basically now he's got Petrant. He's got poison. If he puts poison on my Pokemon, that's 1 damage. That's 10 damage. Then Petrant adds another 5 damage counters, so that's 60 damage. The jungle, Perilous Jungle Stadium he put down adds 2 more. So that's now 80 damage to my Pokemon. And then the Radiant Sneasler he has does another 2 more tokens of poison damage, making it 100 damage. I did knock out his Pokemon, so I was able to get a prize, but he's down to 2 now because he knocked out, because my Mewtwo was poisoned, he died. That's an EX Pokemon he just knocked out, so he just got 2 prizes, and now he's got 2 left. So now the other Petrant, he has Petrant EX in there as well. So Petrant EX allows him to take his active Pokemon to the bench, but he has to bring out a dark Pokemon in return. So that's what he'll do. He'll Petrant right now to Survivor to the active spot. Survivor will get poisoned. He'll Brute Bonnet ability, the poisoning both active Pokemons, mine and his. So he's making my Xatu, because Xatu is my energy pump. And then, so after he poisons both of us with Petrant out there, it's 100. He didn't even have to attack me. He could have brought out Survivor, but he didn't have to, because 100 damage to Xatu kills it. So now he's down to 1 prize. I've got to figure out who to bring out. I should have probably brought out my Mewtwo at this point, because he could take a little more damage. But if he knocks anybody out, and it wouldn't matter, because I'd just be stalling at this point. There's really nothing I can do to get enough energy onto my Mewtwo to start knocking his Pokemon out and getting him dwindled down before he can poison me to death or attack me and poison me to death. So this here is coming up is probably pretty much the end. His poison's going to kill my Azumarill. He's going to get his last prize, and that's going to be GG's. So yeah, that's how to play the game. If you have any questions, obviously you can leave me a comment. You can go into the Discord, and that we're all in. It's Trading After Dark, LB Trading's Discord. And hit me up there. I'm also, like I said, working on trying to get what is it? I'm going to try using Streamlabs to stream Pokemon TCG live from my phone to YouTube, so I can show you how I play a lot of the different decks that I have. including the one he has, as well as my modified one of his. But yeah, this game is pretty much over. I'm just trying to just keep playing it like normal, just to get more familiar with my deck and make sure I understand it completely. I've only been playing for a couple months now, and I've got 3 decks right now. I've got the Mewtwo deck I'm currently playing. I got a Zero to Hero Palafin deck that I've built and I play with, and it does pretty well. And I just recently built the Poison deck that like the modified Poison deck that he has, and I'm looking forward to playing with that next week. Uh, but other than that, I just put a tool of evolution so I can evolve my Pokemon. It lets you pick 2 Pokemon on your bench and evolve them. Uh, so I can go into my deck and evolve those Pokemon. But I'm kind of just trying to find a way to prevent the poison damage, which not going to work because he's going to end up poisoning me his turn anyways, or knock out his poisoner. But I can't because I just used the evolution, and that's considered an attack. Noctowl lets me pull 2 trainer cards from my deck when he evolves and there's a Terra Pokemon in play. But I kind of misplayed that one. It's got to come from my hand, not from my deck, evolve. But we caught that later. He still won. It didn't really matter. And this is about the end. He's going to win. And it's GG's, like I said. Again, I hope you enjoyed this summary. I did have 2 games recorded, but I'm going to just use this one for this video. I'll edit the other one and do a voiceover for that one too, but I did lose that one as well. Because Mewtwo deck it's fun. It's a little niche though. It's a little, if you can't get going, you're pretty much going to lose. It's not a real competitive deck, but I enjoy it. I have fun with it. I try to modify it more and more to make it better and better, so I do have a better shot of winning. And that's it. I appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next one.